Hello everyone, good evening.
So, greeting from Singapore. Welcome to Dharma discussion. I'm Jody.
I'm Lynn, we're husband and wife, and we're here to share with you certain thoughts that we have and want to discuss certain topics, intimate topics that we as husband and wife discuss a lot about.
Yes, indeed.
About marriage, about infidelity, intimacy, a lot of interesting issues, monogamy. And today's topic is another interesting topic.
Yes, today we're talking about starting a family with children.
So what happens when couples decide to start a family and they start to have babies, and babies are so cute and they come in between the couple? Do our little babies bring the couples closer, or do they drive a wedge between the couple?
So this program is meant to create a safe space for anyone who feels like expressing, sharing, talking about their experiences and maybe their view as well. It is a safe space. We're here just to share, not here to make any statement, nor are we here to attack anyone or to express a certain
point of view onto you, or push any kind of, religious or...
Yeah. So here, we just here to talk.
We just need to discuss. And we call it discussions because we really want you guys to interact with us, to make it really a discussion between everyone. And we can learn and grow together. I think one of the ways we can really learn from each other is to talk freely and express ourselves freely, and of course respectfully, so that I can understand myself better, I can understand you better, and we can then grow better. And from there, I feel I get more and more connected with you. And I found that very important in our relationship.
Yes.
I think that's why we gave birth to this particular program. We do it every week on Saturdays, 9 p.m. Singapore time, 9 a.m. EST.
Okay, so
today's topic, again, just a quick one. When couples start a family, do our little babies bring the couples closer, or do they drive us apart?
So do let us know. Send us your comment. If you have any experience.
Anything to share at all?
Yeah, drop in.
So a few points I'd like to ask you, Jody. Let's just get the ball rolling because we have a shy crowd. Do you agree that when we become parents, it often puts a strain on our relationship, our marriage, regardless how it was before? Whether it was good, not so good, it kind of baby adds in the strain, when you become a parent.
I don't agree with the word strain. I do agree with it adds on the complexity towards the relationship we've already had, and that complexity depends how we manage it. It can go either way. It doesn't have to be strained, but yes, it can possibly be, and in most cases, in a lot of cases, it did lead towards that direction.
So you feel that it's not a strain, but it makes the relationship very complex.
It is.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It adds on the complexity.
One and one, and now we add one more person.
Yeah.
Or two even, becomes complex.
Yes. It's not complicated, it's complex. They're two very different words.
How would you differentiate it, complicated and complex?
Complicated are just simply procedural. You know that by doing one step, add on to the next step, or you may have several ways in attending it, you will get the same result. You will get the result. The result is predictable. Complexity, even though you do the same thing again and again, every single time, the outcome will be different.
Okay.
So there's an element of unpredictability in that complexity.
Yeah, that's true. Because already on my own, sometimes I don't even understand myself. Becoming with you in a relationship sometimes becomes even more complex. You've got to deal with someone else. Then a baby comes in.
Yeah. So how do we deal with it? That becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Deal with complicated issues. There's always expertise that you can ask. People who has gone through that before.
Correct.
Or you can share best practices. But when it comes to complexity, it's different because it's like something new.
Yeah, something unique you never experienced before.
Right.
Just like having a baby, everyone can read all the books they want, but every baby is different. I like to tell my friends or my staff who's pregnant, like, you never know what kind of baby you get. So don't plan too much ahead. You kind of leave things open because you never know what kind of baby you get. That's what I always say. And they change from month to month. So do you agree that majority of parents are less satisfied in their marriages after they have kids than when they had no kids?
Statistically, yes, it is.
Yes.
Which is quite a sad case, right?
It is.
However, from my experience, my first marriage obviously did not work out as a result. This marriage is very different. I felt very different. Not because I've learned my experience probably from the first one. I think in this marriage, what we have is something quite special. I think it's that openness, that communications, and that vulnerability that we have for each other. And we are willing to deal with uncomfortable, difficult conversations.
Yeah.
You in particular, you're quite good with that.
I just bring it up. I felt like when we had our son 4 years ago, it was still very stressful. It was quite turbulent. It was not good times, It was really tough. There were really tough, very tough moments, and it was just what it was for months. And then my dad suddenly passed away, and it added to the stress, and it was just a really stressful period, like really difficult, and it's tough. I can imagine it being very tough for a lot of couples.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a smooth ride for us.
No.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that it's 4 years have passed, and everything it passes so quickly.
The question is, it was not whether it's going to be tough or not tough. It's about satisfaction.
True.
Is it more satisfying?
Yeah, and I think what this survey that I pulled out of the Google and I pulled out, it didn't say how long, right? I would, if you ask me this question, I would say I was less satisfied 1 month after, 2 months after, maybe even 6 months after. But 1 year later, no. So I guess what's lacking is, don't take this so literally. Yeah, I will be less satisfied after I had a big quarrel with my husband. I could be less satisfied with my marriage after I had stressful times with my kids, or after having babies. But ask me again 6 months later, and ask me again 1 year later. The answer would be different.
Okay. So for me, if I were to pose this question in a different perspective,
okay,
if it were just a smooth sales,
okay,
would that mean it's more satisfying, or you would just simply get bored?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. If there were no issues, everything was so smooth, and I don't know. I can't even answer you the question because it wasn't smooth.
No, it wasn't. I think that's the beauty of it, right? You add on that flavor rather than just having that plain, smooth, predictable life.
I just may take a lot of things for granted if things were so nice all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I may. It'd be nice for it to be smooth. Okay. And I read also that 20% of couples break up or separate during the first 12 months after they had their first baby. It's quite shocking, but yet I look around me, I think it's statistically quite true. And among the main reasons were because they had dwindling sex life, they had a lack of communication, and always fighting.
Yeah, I could imagine that. I mean, for us, it wasn't a smooth ride. There was a lot of ups and downs, but I think it was those downs that enhanced the up. Yeah, definitely the sex life has gone down a bit. The communication was not quite as easy or as simple.
No, it was not easy.
Yeah. And obviously there will be conflict, there will be disagreement.
Fights.
Yeah, there will be. But will that really cost the marriage, or will that actually enhance the marriage? To me, it's more of the latter. I don't know about you.
I guess because we've been through it, it's really been 4 years. But during that moment, I can understand how exhausting and how mentally draining. And you're like, this can't be my world. This world is horrible. This world I'm in, it's not the best. And a lot of them, they just throw the towel because they can't see the end of. They don't see the light in this darkness, in this chaos, and this, physically draining. There's not insufficient sleep. Sometimes you don't know what baby you're gonna get, right? You never know what kind of baby you get. So you may have insufficient sleep. You may not have enough support externally. You may not have enough support with each other, etc., etc. And then so much resentment built up. And even if you pass the baby and the baby blues that comes in, there's just so much nonsense that comes in.
Yeah.
Insufficient sleep can kill people, much less anything else.
That's true.
And then financially, if you're also strained at the same time, you can't get back to work, etc., etc. All this just adds up to the pressure, the pressure cooker in the house.
Yes.
And the crying, incessant crying of a baby.
Yeah.
And the parents are like exhausted to the brink of exhaustion, and you're like screaming at each other, and no one's able to help each other. It's very tough.
Yeah.
Just imagine a huge pressure cooker and everyone's like boiling in it, going to burst,
Yeah.
Mm.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, are you alone here dealing with this, or there is someone here with you, and you can utilize that partnership? We are quite fortunate. We are not just simply us. We do have a community, right?
We're very lucky. We're very blessed in Singapore. We're able to have what we call domestic helpers, and my mom would come and help. It's quite common for in-laws or mom who happen to be living in the same country in Singapore. They will come by and help a little bit.
Yes,
all true. These helps,
Now then, are we willing to welcome those help?
Oh yeah, that's true.
The second part is, are we willing to also seek for help?
Yes, to ask for help when you need, and not feel like, no, I'm the mother, it's my job, I've got to do it all. I'm not going to ask my sister, my friend, my mom, my husband, my in-law for help because it makes me look like a bad mom. Because they may say something.
I have come across someone just take upon that responsibility literally.
Yeah.
Partially, maybe they feel like it is their responsibility.
Yeah, I'm the mom, I must do it. If not, it will make me look bad as a mom.
Yeah. And the other biggest chunk of it probably comes with the ego that I need to prove to the world that I am a good mother.
Mm.
And all of a sudden you just play either the villain role or the victim roles.
Yeah, and you want to do it all. You want to do everything for them, shower them, feed them, everything, and you have no sleep. And then you're like, it's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
So what happens is most parents, I realize, kind of prepare themselves financially. The smarter ones try to kind of do their books, let's all prepare for the baby, get the cot, get the this, get that. But I think many of us did not prepare our relationship for it. So for those of you who've been through it or are going through it or is going to go through it, maybe it's a great time for us to run through some of the points that we came up with that you guys can start to take note of, and maybe can start discussing it before baby comes,
Yes, you do have a 9 months period of time.
You have some time other than just planning what to buy, what milk powder to feed, etc., etc. Those are the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Let's maybe also delve into other things that would most likely may affect you too, and you may want to talk about it. So now, when things are still cheerful,
it's not meant to scare people away.
No, it's just things that we know is gonna kind of happen. Maybe it's a good time to talk about all these things.
Yeah. So prepare for the rain.
Prepare your relationship for it, so that you know that the baby doesn't take away everything that you will stand for, and why you married each other to begin with. Okay, so shall we go down the list? And you guys feel free to make any comments, all right? Okay, first things first. Lots and lots of stress and insufficient sleep.
Yeah, then I don't think you can get away from it.
No, so you really got to be prepared, okay? So enthusiastically, if you're first-time parents, you want the husband to be there for the birth naturally. Then after that, you want the husband to also sleep with you there, and the baby, and the nurse will come and send the baby to you. Everybody wants to get involved because you're so excited it's your first, right? I also suffered from that because it's the first. Everybody wants to shower the baby together, wants to feed the baby together. Yeah, but when it comes to at night, nobody has the energy to feed baby anymore. That's when the trouble begins, So things like that, working out a routine, a sleep routine really helps.
And also, I think more importantly, it's the physical part. You do need to keep yourself healthy. Before you can actually help others.
So if the mothers are going through confinement, like really do your confinement, and the daddies or if there's a confinement nanny can help out, be great. If you have it.
Yeah, so if you can afford those help, if money really is no object to you.
Yeah, but sleeping routines definitely help. I remember with my first marriage and my first child, because we were both working in the business, it was very hard if both of us were awake the whole night. So we made a pact. I had to breastfeed too. So I get to sleep early. He would take the midnight feed, right? Or the 2 a.m. feed.
Mm.
And I will wake up early, like 5, and he can sleep through. So we both had 5 hours. We both had 5 hours of sleep. That's the thing that helped us. I think I had 10 to 10, 12.
I don't even remember all that.
I made a shift so that we both could sleep solid 5 hours.
So you know who's the planner here, right? So
but
she obviously is
it worked because he could
does.
stay up late and I could wake up early, so that I could wake up at 4-5 a.m. and do that feed, and then he could sleep at the midnight or 1 a.m. and do that feed, so that we both had the 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I think so. So ultimately, it's do have a plan.
Work it out, yeah.
Talk about it, work it out, but more importantly, don't cast it on stone and say this is a fixed plan. As is, things change, and then plan is a plan, is on paper. When it comes to reality, it could be different. And we do talk about it and what worked, what didn't work.
I know for us, Jody wanted our son to be like 100% breastfed. And I tried very, very hard, and I felt so guilty because I couldn't do it past 4 months. I was so stressful because our son consumed so much. I was pumping 8 times a day, which means every 3 hours I was pumping. So I can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just always enough to cover him, because whatever I pumped out 8 times a day was enough to feed him per day. I don't have extra stock, and that stresses me out a lot. So finally, I'm really stressed out. I remember that time I was going through my dad's funeral. I was still pumping through the night, and it was just to no end. I couldn't take it. It was so I had to speak to him. I said, "I'm sorry. I know you really wanted our son to be breastfed. I really can't do it. It's stressing me out a lot. I have to stop. Just stop."
I think that's the part that, as the partner, we really need to have that empathetic and listening ears, and not to over-rationalize, using statistically,
or make me feel
scientifically.
guilty about it. I really felt bad enough, and you didn't make me feel more guilty. I felt so bad to tell you that I can't do it. I felt like, I failed what you wanted. But I really said I couldn't take it anymore, and you understood, and you didn't make me feel bad about it, which helped me just accept it and let's quickly find the right formula and feed him instead. Mm-hmm. So I could give myself that little bit of sleep that I was so deprived of.
Yeah, I think this is the part that is very important. We tend to prioritize the baby, because that's the helpless one. Mm-hmm. And as parents, I think that whole ideology of you needed to sacrifice part is there. But ultimately, if you're not strong, you can't help.
Yeah.
If you're sad, you can't provide happiness. So you do need to look after yourself first. If there's anything that you really can't deal with it, speak up. Yeah, and then look after yourself first.
Yeah. So that's what we did.
Yeah. So make sure you get yourself enough energy to cope. Right.
So sometimes, like we said just now, we don't get insufficient support, and this is what we meant more externally. Like maybe you could get a nanny to come in, or you could ask your mom, sister, someone to help. Just a couple hours even, so they can get out there, maybe get your hair done, just take a breather in a park. Sometimes you just want to free yourself out from mommy duties, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's true.
And you're telling your husband to just do it for a few hours so you can go out for a while.
Yeah, it's extremely important.
Yeah, and not just do it and just go on doing it yourself because you feel that as the mother, you have to do it.
Yes, and it's okay to ask. I think it's very important to ask, not just okay. As for me, this is constantly what I brag about, right? I am a good listener, but I can't read mind. So unless you tell me, I can't help. And so we did have this communication, and
Yeah.
you do say, I do need to sleep in for a few more hours. Can you handle this?
I get upset with him too. Like I see him snoozing away. I'm like, and I get pissed off. It's very natural. I'll be like, I'll be, I'll be so upset. Like, oh, you sleep very well, huh?
Yeah.
Was I so sarcastic?
It was
Because
your
I'm
turn.
upset. And I'm like, I can't sleep. And honestly, as a mother, especially after you give birth, you're always on edge. Like a little bit of sound, I'll be like, I'm awake, so I can't sleep well because I'm always like on alert mode, and it's a natural thing that we get as mothers.
Mhm.
And we get it for the first few years after giving birth. We have this natural instinct, the sound of baby's crying, always doing that, so I don't sleep well. And I get angry for him for not
Because
sleeping
I
well,
sleep, right?
and I'm very upset with him for sleeping well.
And so the way the communication through is, am I going to lash out my anger just because I couldn't sleep? And that wouldn't work, right?
Because I did from time to time. I'm just so upset because I can't sleep well. And I'm envious that how can he sleep so well? Baby is crying, he's still sleeping. Go and change, baby. I'm not moving.
Okay, then so I'm all right to go and change, but not to lash out the anger at me.
No. Yeah, things
Although
like
she
that.
did.
Of course I have. I
And
have
so
done
that's
it.
that's how I pass it back to say, just ask me and I will do so.
So it's okay, it happens. We also lash out each other. Yeah, then we become better after that.
Yes, but do seek for help.
And even if you have very judgy in-laws, bugger it, just ask for help. You need it. It's very important. Okay, next. I think this is very important. We were saying like insufficient communication would definitely create a lot of unnecessary resentment. Yeah, for each other.
Yeah. Not just simply sufficient, but also effective way of communicating.
Yeah. Because sometimes some mothers, because they feel like it's their duty, they take on everything, and they will like nitpick the father because they can't really change the diaper correctly, can't shower the baby correctly, don't carry the baby correctly, and like, I don't do, I do myself.
Yes, and everything the father does
It's wrong.
is wrong. You're never good enough.
No.
And suddenly the father becomes, I'm so helpless.
No, you're just a sperm donor.
Yeah. All right, so if that's the case, you do it.
Yeah, so you see these things happen where the woman or nitpick so much that even the father wants to help. He said, forget it, I'm not going to help anymore.
Yeah,
Just get more scolding and like get told off.
It's very common.
Yeah, so then the father doesn't get involved, and then you feel like everything's on me. I'm doing everything.
Yeah, but then again, I think for a man point of view, it's like, yeah, you picked it up upon yourself, right?
So then how can the couples resolve this? Do they go for parenting class so that both are equally equipped to learn? These are easy ways to resolve, right?
There are many ways of seeing things, right? There's no one way of doing things right. There are many ways of doing things. Your way is definitely different from mine, and mine is different from yours. Who is better, who is not, are we here to judge? At the end of the day,
you wouldn't even know till the results only show later, right?
Exactly. So this is just about the caring. I'm not talking about parenting. I'm just the caring part.
Yeah.
This is the way I change my nappies, and that's the way you change your nappies. As long as it does not leak, it stays there. It works out. Who the hell cares, right? This is the way I carry my babies, and that's the way you carry the baby.
As long as it doesn't fall, it's okay.
It works out. So the communication, I think, is important. Quite often, it is frustrating.
But it's more like you carry it, he keeps crying, then I'm like, I carry.
Okay, so you carry. If you want to, then you carry, and you take on that consequences after that. If I carry, and let me carry it, let me handle it, let me learn how to soothe the child,
also,
right?
the mummies need to learn how to let the daddies do it. Even if they don't seem to do it as well as you need to let them learn. So you just go sleep and let them go handle it. The fact that they're willing to do it is a good thing already. Huh, mommy? Some fathers can't be bothered, but if they bother, then let them learn and let them do it.
Yeah.
So you go and rest.
I think the communication part is important, how you communicate. So here's the part, right? Quite often we lash out based on the suppressed emotion.
Correct.
Are we going to suppress our emotions? I don't think so. I think our emotion needs to be acknowledged. But instead of acting on it, we can just simply acknowledge it by expressing, just tell, I am feeling very frustrated. I'm feeling very angry. Having an inventory of feelings, it's nothing wrong.
Asking people that inventory of feelings words is not something that everyone is equipped to share. Not
simply
in our culture.
I know it is, and that's what everybody said, right?
It's true.
You can always write it down.
It's true.
As a one way of, I find that very therapeutic, rather than lashing it out and becoming unproductive. And at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to get hurt.
I know also sometimes you used to get upset because like our son gets so much more of my attention than you.
Yeah.
And then you were like,
are you, hello, I'm still here.
But I'll get to you at night. That's why we don't let our son sleep with us.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that later on. But I think that the key word here in communication is you do need to express how you feel in a productive and effective and a positive way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you always have to be positive.
No. It's gonna be hee ha ha. No. It's just we find a way to express to each other.
Yeah, and the
right space and the right moment.
Yeah, and the way you express it is you can use words to share.
Write it.
Yeah, you can write it down, express it. You don't have to act on it.
No. Yeah. It's really how I feel. Like for example, I can say something like, oh, I feel when you did that just now, it made me feel less than, because it made me feel like you're trying to say that I'm fat.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like I feel like you're saying I'm fat. Then are you trying to tell me I'm fat?
Yeah. I think a lot of I is better
than you.
You made me feel it's an accusation.
It's natural defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Just something I've learned.
So have some coaches to coach you through and how to speak properly, learn how to express properly.
Something you can do, right, for couples. You've done it before for other couples when they not that you're a marriage counselor, more like if they have certain things to break through and learning how to communicate better with each other. You can do that for them, right?
Not just couples. I can help to mediate,
yeah.
And having difficult conversations, allowing all parties to be heard. That is more importantly. And also, you can express freely how you feel in a safe environment where you're not going to be judged.
I remember one of those families when we facilitated for them, the one in China, when the mother felt like she could be heard. Oh my God, it's so different. Like she looked so different. Like
first time someone is hearing my voice.
All these decades and years, she felt like she had no voice. And suddenly everyone's giving her the space to speak, and she was brave enough to bring it up. It was such a life-changing moment for her.
So here's the goal. I think having that communication,
creating a safe environment to do it.
Yeah.
No one's going to lash out at you or what we are afraid is the bad reaction that comes with it. If you confront an issue, you're afraid of the reaction and the negative response that you may get from it. Yeah, but it could happen. So then if you're not able to set up the environment, then maybe you need a third party to help you set it up. And when all parties learn how they can do it, you guys can do it on your own.
Yeah.
It's possible. Okay, this lack of intimacy and romance when baby comes in.
I think that naturally comes in for the first couple of months, right?
You're very lucky, Some people are years.
Well, if you go into years, I think that could be a major problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
A couple of months, so of course you're fine.
No, but think about this, right?
Fine.
We started off as lovers.
Yes.
When we were lovers, we're all over the place. Our hands are okay. Anyway, and all of a sudden, you get into this part where you become husband and wife. You're looking forward to this building a life together. That intimacy, that romance, that lust, still there. Suddenly, the third party comes in.
Being the baby.
It's meant to be oh, that's the crystal of our love and everything. And all of a sudden,
The crystal of our love. That's a good one.
and yeah, isn't that what you call it?
Crystal of our love, our baby. I guess you can call it that. I've never heard anyone say that before. Yes, the
Well, just-
love was crystallized in the form of our son.
Yeah, and then pop, it comes, and there goes our love,
Correct.
and it's all that out there.
Oh, it's like it's there with him and no more with us.
Yes, no more with us,
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
and it no longer. Then it becomes like,
Yeah. I think sex drive for me in the beginning, of course, it dampened tremendously. My whole body was a wreck, you know.
yeah,
I don't. I just had the whole thing come up from me. It's nothing I want to go in. I just cannot. I cannot.
okay,
Hormonally, I'm all over the place. And honestly, it's very true. The baby blues, we're gonna talk about that after. But for sure, everyone has it. It's just a matter of how severe.
yeah,
Every woman would have it. Okay, I tell all the daddies I know who's having the baby, your wife is gonna get it, so be prepared for it. And you don't know how severe she's gonna get. We don't know. I had it. I have all of it, but it's just sometimes it's just a few weeks, sometimes it's just a few months. And that's it. And thank God it was okay. But you never know.
And as for the guy, from the guy's perspective, like I have been having no sex for months before the baby, right? Maybe. We definitely is not quite as intimate.
Not as often. But yeah, we had.
Yeah, and then suddenly everything gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
then after that.
Where am I supposed to go and express my...
Yeah, see, then this is the thing, couples must also work out. You must work out intimacy plans. So like if the woman is too huge, right, then how, what angles, certain things like that. You know, you can have intimacy in different ways.
Yes.
You can be creative about it.
There are actually books written about it.
Yeah, so I
it's
think all this
important.
can be talked about and planned.
So I remember...
Don't just stop it just because it only is one way to get intimate. No, it's not true. There's many ways.
Yes, go and talk about it.
Got another way.
Okay. Yes, so this is the part that you do need to work on a plan
Yeah,
and have the right expectation
correct.
and seek for help if this stretches for longer than you expected.
Sometimes it's really not personal, guys. Really, for me, my body was really not in the shape where I want to be naked in,
Yeah, so do seek for help.
etc., etc. All these things, you know, and of course, no spontaneity. You really have like a 10 minutes moment before baby wakes up. quickly. So not so fun after a while. It's all quickies. But it's all temporarily. I feel it will all taper off. I feel that it's just a momentarily thing. It just take it more like enjoy the ride of it. It's going to be like that. If you're prepared for it, then you have such high expectation and get so disappointed. Don't think your love life, your sex life is going to be the same as it was when you just got together. It's okay. It will get back there, but you can work on it. I think you have the right expectations when you're going through different points in your life.
Yeah, that's true. I think the key is really need to talk about it, work on it, and set some form of indications. What really is not working is really pushing, and that's the time you really need to seek for help. Yeah, and then not take it for granted. Yeah.
So baby blues, the hormones. I know with our son, I was a bit bluish. And it just, when I say bluish means that maybe you watch a comedy and you start to tear and cry. You don't understand why. Or maybe things like, maybe it's so small, but you make it feel like it's so big emotionally. Things like that. Things are more emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that time, because I was so afraid of getting pregnant again, I put those, the patch, the pregnancy patch. Oh my God, I was a wreck. It was such a bad idea to have done that like so soon after I gave birth.
Yeah, this is something
It
that
made me even more crazy. Like I felt like for a few months I would sleep really bad.
so this is something that men may not be able to appreciate in terms of hormones. We're two rational thinkers in that sense.
And then you guys think we're just using the reasons, but it's not true.
And in this household, it's extremely hormonal, right? I'm the only male, and we have all female, including the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, you're not the only male, okay? Our son is male.
He's too young. And so I have and then I had to deal with all these hormones from the mother to the daughter to another daughter, including the bitch, the dog itself. So yes, so all I did was just simply dealt with all these hormones and using just my brain to tell me I have to understand and to accept and learn what is the best way to cope with it.
It's true, I cannot help it. Why? And your thing is not.
And this is what I say, okay, are you going to argue with it?
Like clockwork, before like monthly hormones,
we're talking about baby blues here.
Yeah, okay, but it's hormones again, right? The baby blues happen because of our hormonal level being very high, very, very high when we're pregnant. That's why women have beautiful hair, beautiful skin. Okay. When we are pregnant. But when we give birth, the hormone level drops drastically immediately, so we have a lot of hair fall. We have to deal with hair fall, loose skin, bad pigmentation, the post-pigmentation things, a lot of physical problems. Much less you don't feel attractive to want to go and do whatever, and you're emotionally quite a wreck. Why do you think mothers kill themselves and their own babies? That's postpartum depression is really something you guys need to be very compassionate about, and if it's going to be one of those severe cases, it's fine to seek help. I had a girlfriend that come to me a year and a half after she gave birth, saying, Lynn, I'm really having depression, and my husband is telling me to go find someone to talk to, not him, and divorce me. She's fighting with him every day.
It is true.
But he was understanding. I thought, please go and get help because I can't take it anymore. And she took medication and she was fine within the second year.
Yes. So this is the part that the dad needs to understand.
Yeah.
But also for the mom, if it affects the dad. Living with someone who's extremely hormonal, having the fluctuation up and down, it's not fun. No. It's not fun. And the easy way out is just walk out that door.
Yeah. To find another person.
Yeah, and I don't have to live with it.
Yeah.
But then again, you learn to regret it afterwards. So again, having that communication and that understanding, the compassion is not just about the mother, also about the dad, because the dad has to live through all these things. And I hope the mother also can appreciate that, hey, this guy's coping with all my bitchiness.
I remember I had all my moments. I definitely had them. And I always, when the moments when I'm okay, I come and I talk to you about it, I apologize to you for...
Yeah.
And for those moments where it was really not so good, and I said, I'm really working on it, I'm trying my best, but it's really hard. Like I'm aware. And telling him I'm aware of what I've done, of what's going through, the anger and the whole, I'm aware of it and I'm trying my best to work it through. But it's not easy.
No, but having that awareness
in the conversations,
and
he knows that I am aware of it. I'm not in denial of it. Yeah. It's just give me some more time to work it out.
Yes. So I have come across a couple. I personally have experienced it from my previous marriage. That communication simply was not there. It was just simply an accusation followed by accusation followed by accusation, and as a result of it, whoa, yeah.
No, but I think we worked it through. Like, I took out that patch because I told him it's driving me crazy. You just gotta stick the condoms. That's it. So I couldn't take the patch. My hormones was going crazy. I think I was much better after I took it out.
Okay.
To me, at least I feel much better.
Yeah. So watch out for that blues.
Yeah. Imbalanced workload and chores. So this is something you guys got to think about. Everything will double or triple. The laundry, lack of sleep, lack of TV time, or computer time, or your Facebook time, etc., etc., etc. Whatever you guys used to have, all these would kind of disappear. or be very much reduced. So don't expect to come home, guys, and put your legs up and just expect to be served by your wife because that's what she used to do. She can't do it anymore. Right? In fact, she needs your help. So you're gonna go double duty and help relieve her as well. So there's all these things you got to be prepared for. I don't think my life is going on as per normal when baby comes in. Or because I got one maid to help. The maid may not be a good maid, if you're lucky, if you're not, things like that. You somehow will not, your lifestyle will not remain the same. You need to be able to adapt to it and maybe cut off certain things that you used to and indulge in. You just have to indulge in it a bit less for some time.
Yeah.
But when things are better and I'm sure you could go back to them.
Well, I think ultimately it all depends on the lifestyles and also the amount of help we have, right? In my previous relationship, I had like 5 helpers.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Yeah, I had 5 helpers, and then my parents just lived like 5 minutes walk away. So as far as the chores and everything is concerned, that was easily managed.
Yeah.
But again, does that mean that our life can be as it was? No, it still doesn't.
Yeah, true.
There are things that will be different, and again, having that understanding, having that conversations help.
Yeah.
We didn't have that conversation.
It helps a lot. It's true. I even like for those who can't afford a full-time help, if you can afford a part-time help, also helps. Everything helps. Anything helps. If you can pile out the laundry and get someone to deal with it for once a week or send it to a laundromat, find the cheapest one for you, get it picked up and send it. All these small little costs really helps for you to alleviate stress. So when you're like, for example, I had a friend who had her baby, 2 young kids, and then had no maid, and then the husband had to work, and then she's like all stressed out, she had to do everything. You must find a way to be a bit smart about things, even though you have some costing constraints, money constraints, so that you could get through the day, get through the week. Things like that really helps to balance it out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so you don't struggle alone.
Seek for help.
Yeah, and I want to tell you guys it's all temporary. It will be just maybe a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. And then the phase will just change where the baby needs less attention, etc., etc. So it's not going to be like that forever. Though it feels like it's terrible for so many nights. Okay, this I mentioned just now how as a mother I struggled. I don't know about all, but for me, I'm very envious of those women who just go and pop out and come back looking like a model. I'm not one of those. I don't have that kind of genes. Sorry. I keep telling him, if I'm gonna have our baby, don't expect me to come back to my shape so soon. I need time. And if he's one of those who like expect me to be immediately, it's not an expectation I can keep up with.
I didn't expect that, but what I do expect is don't take it for granted.
Yeah, I know, but
so,
it's just
to me, it's not just about the figure. To me, it's about the health. That's more important than anything, right?
True.
The figure is temporarily, but more important is going back to the fitness and the health that we're supposed to be. Because I think we do need that to provide for the care.
Yeah. So some of the nice ways would be like, let's go for walks together versus telling her to go exercise, because we're very sensitive as women after we give birth. So actually that makes me fat. So it's more like, hey darling, let's go for a walk together. We can chit-chat. Nice weather. So you make it like that now, not so direct to her face, go exercise.
Yeah.
More like, let's go for walks together. You want to go for a walk? Oh, do you want to go back to your dancing and go back to your yoga? Let me take care of baby for this weekend. Things like that helps. Subtle.
Yeah. It is true, because that's what I did and it works.
Okay, now what happens when baby comes is like the whole world, everyone's attention is just about the baby, and there's no more us, it's just baby.
What happened?
Like some, not for us, but I mean, there's sometimes you see a couple, the whole life is just about the baby.
Yeah.
Everything is about their son or their daughter. Their
Um,
whole life evolves around it. There's no more husband and wife. It's just daughter or son.
it sounded good. It sounded great. But think about this. What happened if the baby have grown into a child and a child into an adult?
Mm.
And that's what's left all of a sudden becomes so empty.
Mm.
I think ultimately the relationship between the husband and wife needs to be constantly
It
maintained.
needs to be the primary relationship.
Indeed, I think that's more important than anything. So that's what I've said before.
And I agree with it.
Before we were husband and wife, we were lovers. Before we were parents, remember that first.
Mm.
And so keep that going.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's very sad if the whole world is on the child or their children, and that's the only thing that ties them together, obligation or duty.
Yeah.
That's not the marriage. That's why I couldn't stay in my first marriage, because it just felt like, okay, we're just gonna be together because we have kids. But there's no love and there's no intimacy, there's no real, that's not the marriage I thought a marriage is.
Uh-huh.
I just like, okay, have kids and then I do my own thing and you do your own thing. That's not what I wanted. I wanted us to be doing things together.
Yes. So we can do things together to raise a child, but not everything is about the child. There must be something that we do together, that us time needs to be there. Also equally important, the me time needs to be there too.
Correct. So it goes down to the next one, is that there's no couple time and there's no personal time. Meaning we don't make an effort to put us first. We don't make effort to put, I don't make effort to put myself first, and or vice versa.
Yeah, so make a conscious effort to have your own me time, and then to have the couple time.
The couple time, not just sleeping at night together, that kind of couple time, that's it, I meant like really conversation, not just sleeping next to each other. That's considered, we got to spend time while we slept the last 6 hours together. No, it's talking, it's, sharing something together, laughing over something together, catching up, connecting with each other. Whatever ways you guys connect with pre-baby would be a nice way to do it. Maybe you can't do it as often, but still keep at it regularly. Yeah. If you used to do like he does a lot of running and cycling, of course he did less of it when our son came along, but then he started to resume more and more whenever he can, or he find moments in between to do it.
Actually, I didn't do any less. I just changed the forms. I run with the kid.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's how
we got a stroller that helped him run with baby. So that gave me time as well to do my own thing without having the baby around.
Yeah.
So that helps to kill many stones.
Yeah.
Many birds in one stone. Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad. I clocked in like 50, 60 kilometers.
He enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do. I enjoyed my alone
time.
My alone time with the child. It's fun.
Yeah, and I enjoyed them going out together. So father-son bonding.
Yeah.
And they still do it together now. Then they go cycling together.
Yes, we do. Well, I won't say we go cycling. Yeah, I do cycling and he sits on the back.
Well, you're cycling together.
Yeah.
He's only 4, right? It's good. Okay, financial strains. Already you're physically strained, you're mentally strained, you're emotionally strained, and then sometimes you're even financially strained when baby comes along. For whatever reason, because you want to give the best to your child, and the best costs a lot. Or you have a child that's constantly sick, and that also costs a lot.
Yeah, so having a good financial plan beforehand helps.
Yeah, because you never know what kind of baby you're gonna get.
Yeah, but also I think the one part of it is that ego part, particularly when you have your first child. You always want to throw in the best.
Yeah.
And you
buy the best, branded, everything. And for my daughter, my first one, 15 years ago, I bought everything brand new. With our son, of course, now with the technology, the availability of Carousel or second-hand market, I practically bought a lot of things for him second-hand. Toys, baby chairs, strollers. Second-hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Good quality branded stuff, but second-hand.
Well, it's used product. They're good condition. Recycle them. There's no point of
Yeah,
using just a couple of books
that's
and
right.
throw them
I'm
all
so
away.
happy. I saved so much. I bought so much. And because they all use it just for short periods of time, you just need it for a month, sometimes a year. That's it.
And most of the time, a lot of things are unused because they get it from gifts.
Yeah. So I spend a lot on the carousel, second-hand market, buying all these things. And after that, I feel so happy to sell them away as well, or give it away because they didn't cost me too much. I give it away to family, friends, staff who are having babies.
Yes, and using that money for proper usage.
Like buying, for me, certain thing was to clean, like, your specify, the bottle, milk bottle teat has to be clean. The bottle may be recycled.
Okay.
Because good food, all this, I rather spend on that.
So that's
Things like that. So all this helps. You don't have to always buy brand new. I see a lot of couples who are struggling, but yet they buy a lot of things brand new. Maybe they need to rethink how to be smarter with the money so that you don't, because it's your first child, you want to spend so much on them. There's many ways now to also have good quality stuff, but not brand new. I did it.
Yeah, well, that's just one of the ways. But do plan and think and talk about it beforehand.
Yeah, maybe certain things you don't need so much, you can cut it off. Or maybe change the brands of certain things that cost a bit lesser but still enjoy them. Yeah, it's always possible to do things like that so that the whole family gets what they want. Yeah. Okay, when you have very different baby caring styles. Like for you, you say baby cry, let them cry.
Well, I will check. Is it the nappies is wet? You need to change it, or maybe is the baby having a fever and a discomfort? Check that out first, and if everything is okay, okay, leave it there. If not, then the baby knows. There are different schools of thoughts. There's no right, no wrong. It's just different.
So that's his school of thought. For me, I like to carry him whenever I can because I know, like now he's 4. I can't carry him very much. He's too heavy. So I don't get to carry my baby for very much longer. So when he was a little boy, baby, whenever I can, I'll carry him.
Yeah, as long as you're happy and you are okay with the
I don't feel
consequences.
upset carrying him. Then you must be smart. You use what we call the Baba sling, and I can carry him easily everywhere.
Yeah. So I think we have to come to understand we are two different people, and we have different personalities. Instead of making accusations, we can build on each other's differences. And sometimes it's not about good or bad, it's just simply different, accepting it, and live with also the consequences. And to me, that's perfectly okay. If you want to carry, don't blame it. You never carry your child, they make me feel like I have a backpack. Those are the things like, you're the one who wants to carry him. I didn't do that with you. No, I'm not saying you did.
Yeah, I did that. Because I really wanted to carry him, knowing that he's going to be my last baby I'm going to have. I won't have a chance like this anymore. And so I really carried him as much as I could.
Yeah. So
to each his own. Yeah, his thought is fine. Why carry so much of them? Maybe. Yeah, it's fine. I did that my second.
Yeah.
Then I regretted.
Okay, so that's how I think about this different baby carrying styles.
But we still have different carrying styles. Like for sometimes, like I still feed him, and you're like, "Why are you feeding him?" Because I felt like feeding him.
Yeah. To me, it's fine as long as you want to feed him. By all means,
as long as I know he can feed himself. Actually, he can. It's just that I like to do it because I like to want to mother him.
Yeah. So when he goes out with me, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows. He will just feed himself. Like this afternoon where you were not home, it was just me and the children.
Kids, yeah.
I just put the bowl in front of him and he just simply finished the whole thing clean. And he brings the whole thing back into the kitchen. And
because the school has taught him to do so, I know.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as I know he can do that, that's okay.
Yeah, it's just our thing.
Yeah. So
he lets me do it.
Choose the right bathroom.
True. Okay, lastly is when the relationship becomes just very transactional and very functional.
Yeah. that has become too sad.
Yeah.
That becomes too sad.
It's just really very transactional. Like, oh yeah, get the milk for baby. No, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to my previous relationship. I just suddenly become like I'm the ATM. I'm just simply the one who provides the money. That's it. And for her, she's something else. The love was never there, and sadly, the children learn by observation. If they see this is what love is, this is what parents are supposed to be, that's how they will grow up to be. So I make it very clear in this relationship that needs to come first. So they get to see how we hold hands, how we kiss each other.
And our son gets very, when Daddy kisses mommy, he's like, why is Daddy kissing mommy? I must kiss mommy too. Then he rushes and kind of kisses me too.
Well,
So
it's
I'm very
affectionate,
lucky.
yeah.
Yeah. That, so it's fine. We want them to see that's how love is and how marriages are.
That is true. They do observe us.
Yeah. All of them.
Yes. So those are a few thoughts that we've had about when you want to start a family.
And a few final points, I guess, is really to maintain that intimacy and sexual connection. I know it's really tough, ladies, in the beginning. I totally understand. Don't have to keep up the same frequency, but still some connection would really help.
Yes,
with
it
the
does.
Marriage.
I could also
Be
understand.
creative about it.
I could also understand it. You may not feel like it.
No.
It's tough. It's hard. And for men, please understand that part as well.
It's not personal.
But if it gets to a point that you no longer care, or it gets to a point that you can no longer cope and you need to seek outside, please seek for help. It is important.
Yeah, don't do something you regret. Like sharing night feeds, making time for intimacy, having time out with friends, regular date nights, or all these kind of things that you have to keep doing. Like you said, maybe less frequency, but still keep on going at it.
Yeah.
And lastly, to be really patient with each other. I would like to say that this too shall pass. The happy times with the baby and also the trying times with the baby will also pass. Like my little boy when he was 2 years old, so cute. That the different kind of cuteness is so past, and the fever nights or the tantrum night, all these also would pass. And it's really important to be really patient with each other.
Yeah, time does fly.
Yeah.
And little do we know, they grow very fast. My eldest is now 19 years old. So
I would like to ask you guys to actually turn it around and make it as fruitful as you can. Make it really a journey that you can appreciate, because they pass so fast, the good ones and the bad ones together.
But so ultimately, I do find whatever it is, the key word is really to communicate. Really communicate, express.
And keep connecting and keep communicating, because you guys are the ones that's going to stand together through the test of time,
Yeah. And the child actually picked that up from that. Okay, I think so. It seems like a very quiet crowd tonight, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so what are we going to talk about next week?
Next week, money and love in a marriage.
Ew, I hate that.
What do you hate about it?
I never liked money.
Why you don't like money? Make money your best friend.
Yeah. It's not that it's not about I do not like having money. I have a funny relationship with money.
Yeah, relationship with money. And then how it plays out in the marriage.
Yeah.
And also, this Thursday, you're going to have a masterclass.
Yes, I'm going to talk about conflicts.
Yeah. So this Thursday as well at 4 p.m.
So 4 p.m. it is. And actually, we're going to talk about conflicts, how we deal with it. Actually, it's more like how we make the best out of it.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. So hope to see you guys then. Thank you so much for being with us for today.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.